The photographer hands you a USB drive with 847 photos. You look great. The venue looks stunning. The floral arrangements cost more than your first car. And somewhere between the cocktail hour and the first dance, you spent $68,000 on a single Saturday. You weren't reckless, you weren't stupid, you had a spreadsheet, you negotiated vendors, you told yourselves it was a once in a lifetime event, which is technically true, but also the exact thing every financial mistake has in common. Nobody blows up their finances on something they plan to do twice. Here's what the wedding industry will never put in a brochure. The average American couple in their mid-30s who spent $50,000 or more on their wedding has a net worth approximately $40,000 lower than couples who spent under $20,000, even after controlling for income. That's not a coincidence. That's compound interest, running in the wrong direction for a decade. You're 35 now. The photos are in a drawer. The marriage might be great, but you're looking at your retirement account and something isn't adding up. Let's talk about why. The Milestone Tax. There's a financial mechanism nobody names. So let me name it. Call it the Milestone Tax. It works like this. Certain life events carry such intense social and emotional weight that your normal financial judgment gets completely suspended. You stop asking, is this worth it? And start asking, how do we make this perfect? Those are different questions. Very different price tags. Weddings are the most potent milestone tax trigger that exists, but the mechanism extends to honeymoons, nursery builds, quinceañeras, graduation trips, and milestone birthday parties. Any event labeled once in a lifetime activates it. Here's the math that makes it brutal. $68,000 at age 30 invested in a low-cost index fund becomes roughly $290,000 by age 60, assuming a 5% average real return. You didn't spend $68,000 on a wedding. You spent $290,000 of future money on a party your guests have mostly forgotten. And the milestone tax doesn't stop at the wedding itself. It bleeds into the honeymoon, the first home purchase, the furniture to fill the home, the baby shower 18 months later. One milestone activates the next. The tax compounds. Understanding this mechanism doesn't mean you should have had a courthouse wedding. It means the emotional intensity of a milestone is precisely when you need financial structure the most, not the least. Rule 1. The celebration to asset ratio. Before any major life event, calculate what percentage of your current liquid net worth you're preparing to spend on something with zero resale value. Most financial planners will tell you to keep wedding costs under 10% of annual income. That's not aggressive enough. The real number, if a single event requires more than 15% of your current liquid net worth, you're not celebrating a milestone. You're mortgaging one. A couple with $80,000 in combined savings spending $30,000 on a wedding is spending 37.5% of their financial foundation on a non-appreciating event. The psychological trick is that it doesn't feel like that. It feels like $30,000 spent on one day. But what you actually spent is 37.5% of your emergency capacity. Your early retirement buffer, your down payment acceleration, all at once. The consequence of ignoring this isn't abstract. Couples who over-index on wedding spending report significantly higher financial stress in the first 3 years of marriage. And financial stress is the leading cause of divorce. The wedding you bankrupted yourselves to afford might be actively undermining the marriage it was supposed to celebrate. That's not irony, that's a mechanism. Apply the celebration to asset ratio to every milestone, kid's birthday party, anniversary trip, holiday spending. If the event to net worth ratio crosses 15%, you need to redesign the event, not find more money to fund it. Rule 2. The sunk cost wedding. Here's the behavior pattern that costs people more money than the wedding itself. Once you've committed significant deposits to vendors, a psychological trap locks in. Every additional dollar spent feels justified by what you've already spent. You're already in $15,000. So, what's another $3,000 for the photo booth? The band costs $8,000, but you've come this far. The cake upgrade is only $600 more. Economists call this the sunk cost fallacy. In the wedding industry, it's weaponized. Every vendor knows exactly how it works. Real scenario, your mother-in-law has been talking about this wedding for 11 years. Your college friends are flying in from 3 different states. Somewhere around the 45-day mark, the florist offers an upgrade just to make the entrance really special. And suddenly saying no doesn't feel like saving money. It feels like letting everyone down. That reframe, protection instead of escalation, is how a $25,000 budget becomes a $68,000 reality in increments of just a little more. The specific version of this for weddings happens at the 60-day mark. That's when most couples have paid major deposits and begin making final decisions about upgrades. It's also statistically when per wedding spending spikes hardest. Vendors know this. The final 2 months are upsell season. What to do instead? Lock every single budget category before you book your first vendor. Non-negotiable maximums written down, agreed to by both partners. When the florist offers an upgrade at 45 days out, the answer isn't, let me think about it. The answer is, our floral budget is allocated. Thank you. The couple who argues about flowers at 45 days is the couple that goes $18,000 over budget. The couple with locked categories never has the argument because the decision was already made. Rule 3, audience-driven spending. This one is uncomfortable to say out loud, but it needs to be said. A significant portion of luxury wedding spending has nothing to do with what the couple actually wants. It's spending performed for an audience of relatives, coworkers, and social media connections whose opinions will have zero effect on your life within 18 months of the event. Think about who influenced your decisions. The venue upgrade because your parents' colleagues would be attending. The open bar because your college group would judge anything less. The dress that cost $4,200 because of how it would photograph. The florals that cost $7,000 because the venue needed to look a certain way in pictures that would live on Instagram for a week before the algorithm buried them. None of that was for you. It was a performance, and performances have no residual value. The question to ask before every vendor upgrade, if nobody I knew would ever see this, would I still pay for it? If the answer is no, you've identified audience-driven spending. That doesn't automatically mean you eliminate it, but it means you're consciously choosing to spend money on other people's perceptions. That choice deserves to be made deliberately, not by default. Before we go further, I want to ask you something directly. What's the biggest milestone tax you've ever paid or almost paid? Drop it in the comments. Could be a wedding, a quinceañera, a graduation trip, a we deserve this vacation that you're still paying off 2 years later. I read every single one, and I promise the comments on this video are going to be more educational than the video itself. Rule 4, the financial coherence test. A wedding budget exists inside of financial life. Most couples plan their wedding in isolation, treating it as a separate category, disconnected from everything else happening financially. That's exactly backward. A couple earning $130,000 combined, carrying $60,000 in student loans, with $22,000 in savings and zero retirement contributions, has no business spending $45,000 on a wedding, not because it's immoral, Because the math is incoherent. Their financial situation cannot support that event without creating damage that lasts years. The coherence test works like this. Before finalizing any wedding budget, map your complete financial picture: total debt, total liquid savings, monthly investment rate, projected home purchase timeline. The wedding budget gets set last, after everything else is accounted for, not first. And here's the number most couples never face directly. For every $10,000 you spend above a basic functional wedding, calculate how many months of retirement contributions that represents. At $500 per month invested, $10,000 is 20 months. $40,000 in upgrades above baseline is 6.5 years of retirement contributions, compressed into one event. Is the upgraded venue worth 6 years of future security? Maybe, but you should be making that trade explicitly, not accidentally. Rule 5. Lifestyle anchoring after the wedding. Here's what actually does the long-term damage, and most people never connect it back to the wedding. When you spend $68,000 on a celebration, you establish an implicit standard for what special looks like in your life. Every subsequent milestone gets benchmarked against that reference point. Anniversary trips get measured against the honeymoon. Holiday spending expands to match the emotional scale of the wedding. Your 4-year-old's birthday party feels inadequate if it doesn't hit the same emotional register as the event you built from scratch at $68,000. Behavioral economists call this anchoring. And once anchored, every future event gets pulled toward that reference point. Real example: the couple who had a destination wedding in Tuscany, beautiful, memorable, $74,000 all in. 3 years later, they're planning their 5-year anniversary. A weekend in the Catskills feels like a downgrade. So they book another international trip on credit, because anything less feels like they're not honoring what they built. The wedding didn't just cost $74,000, it restructured how they evaluate spending for the next decade. The correction isn't guilt, the correction is deliberately resetting the anchor. Create genuinely meaningful experiences at dramatically lower price points. A dinner you cook together at home for your anniversary, a birthday that's about presence, not production. Each time you have a satisfying experience at a fraction of what you once spent, you're weakening the old anchor and building a healthier reference point. This is quiet work. Nobody posts about it, but it's the work that actually changes your financial trajectory. Implementation. No theory from here, just actions. This week, pull up every credit card statement and loan that traces back to your wedding. Add the total number. Then open a compound interest calculator and enter that figure at 5% annual return over 25 years. Look at the number that appears. Write it down, not to punish yourself, but because accurate decisions require accurate numbers. You need to see what you're actually dealing with. This month, if you're carrying wedding debt in any form, personal loans, lingering credit cards, money borrowed from family, build a single consolidated payoff plan. One rate, one payment, one timeline. Every month it sits, it grows. Treat it as an emergency, not a background condition. This quarter, sit down with your partner and identify your next 3 major life milestones. Set maximum budgets for each before the emotional gravity of those events kicks in. The decisions made calmly in advance are almost always better than decisions made 45 days before an event, when vendors are calling and your mother-in-law has opinions. This year, calculate your current net worth. Set a concrete target for 12 months from now. The couples who recover fastest from wedding overspending are the ones who redirect that same intensity into building wealth. Match your investment rate to the energy you once put into planning the perfect centerpiece. Same drive, different target. You still have the USB drive with 847 photos. Some of them are genuinely beautiful. The one where you're laughing at something your partner said, mid vow, completely off script, the reception table where your grandmother fell asleep during the toasts, the first dance where neither of you actually knew how to dance, and you just sort of swayed. None of those moments cost $68,000. Those moments were free. What cost $68,000 was everything built around them, the architecture of perfection constructed to impress people who went home and argued about traffic on the way out of the parking lot. I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad. I'm telling you this because you're 35 and there's still time, real time, to make the next chapter look completely different. The baby shower is coming, then the first home, then the kids' activities, the bar mitzvahs, the quinceañeras, the college decisions, and every single one of those will carry the same emotional gravity as the wedding. The same vendors, the same social pressure, the same quiet voice asking if maybe you should just upgrade. Just this once, because it's a special moment. The milestone tax will keep collecting every time. Unless you name it, you just named it. Now go drop a comment telling me the biggest milestone tax you've ever paid or almost paid, because I genuinely want to know. And so does everyone else watching this right now who just realized they're not alone.